My mother's boyfriend made me realize how insecure my stepmother is. I feel like I've just discovered a whole new world, one where I'm treated like a person instead of a nuisance. I speak Spanish, so if you want to leave a comment in Spanish, feel free. My father has been married to my stepmother for 6 years, and they have 2 kids together. I'm 17 years old. I'm quiet, I clean up after myself, and I work part-time, so I pay for many of my own things. I'm not perfect, but I've never been a problem, yet she always made me feel like one. It started with her showing annoyance whenever I went to my father's house. My mother taught me to always wash my own dishes, but I clearly remember hearing my stepmother tell my father that she would not clean other people's dishes or cook food for me. I think that was the first time I felt like a nuisance in a place where I used to feel comfortable. My father and I used to take trips together, and I was honestly excited to go on vacation with my little brothers. But then they started going on vacations together as a family, and I was no longer part of it. She didn't like me going with them. Then the Christmas photos started. It always felt strange when they took a picture with me and then she would say, "Okay, now one with my family," and I had to step aside. The photos they have hanging, baptisms, family events, I'm not in them, even though I was there. When my siblings were born, she really hated when I was around them. She resented my presence. I remember once asking about this in a Facebook group about stepmothers and getting responses from women saying my stepmother's behavior was normal. So I decided to try not to feel bad about it. I think as the years went by, it stopped hurting, or at least I thought it did, until I met my mother's boyfriend, who I'll call Luigi because he looks like him. He's been dating my mom for 2 years, but he was her friend for years before that. He has a son from a previous relationship. Luigi is really kind and funny, so it felt strange to feel so comfortable around him. One day, he was organizing a vacation, and I was happy to hear him include me in his plans. His son and I get along well, so he even invites me on outings with them. My mother is pregnant, and I think that brought back trauma from my stepmother, so I automatically expected to be pushed aside by Luigi, but that didn't happen. My mom and Luigi always include his son and me in everything. Because of this, I slowly began to realize that my stepmother's behavior isn't normal, even though it still hurt. Everything exploded yesterday when my father and his family were taking the typical Christmas photo. My father told me he would take one with me later, like every year. He keeps them in his office, so I stayed home. I felt silly for feeling sad again. My mother hugged me, but I was exhausted and finally told her about the treatment I've been getting. For the first time, I saw Luigi angry. He called my father, and I heard him tell him everything. I even laughed a little when he called my stepmother an insecure psychopath. Luigi apologized to my mother afterward, but he said that what I've been experiencing is a form of psychological child abuse and that he will not be involved in it anymore. Hearing that made me realize it's true. I've been bullied by a grown woman just for existing. She's insecure about a child. I was a child when I met her. I was a child when she made me feel insecure in my own home. I was a child when she started calling me a weekend daughter. I don't want to see my father again. I don't want to live my adulthood around someone who hates me, but I also don't want her to win by giving her what she wants, making me disappear. Edit. Apparently this post was shared in a stepmom subreddit, because I've been receiving private messages from people trying to justify my stepmother's behavior. I'm sorry, but I won't respond to those messages. I will only block those accounts. I don't need anyone turning the person who victimized me into a victim. I don't need a group of cruel adults trying to make me feel guilty for what I experienced as a child. Absolutely nothing justifies mistreating a child. Being a stepmother is difficult? Then try being a little girl who doesn't understand why an adult in her own home hates her. I posted more about this on my profile. Final update. Hi. I made this account just to vent, but I received so many sweet comments, aside from the harassment from women in that stepmom subreddit, which I talked about on my profile, that I wanted to leave one last update for those who were worried about me. After Luigi set boundaries with my father and stepmother, my father didn't contact me for hours. Then he sent a message saying, "I'm so sorry, Iha, I love you." I felt strange because it didn't make me cry or feel loved. I always wanted to be a daddy's girl. I loved my father and cherished the rare moments we had together without my stepmother making bitter comments. But when I read that message, all I thought was, same old thing. I didn't reply. My father kept pictures of me in his office at home, but why did I have to be a secret? I'm not the daughter of a lover he's trying to hide. Why does my existence have to be confined to a room? My face couldn't be displayed in the house where I lived? It feels silly to say this now, because I used to feel happy seeing my photo there. I felt special, thinking, Dad has me in his office every time he works. But as I grew older, that feeling changed. It took on a darker, more realistic meaning, and the feeling of being special disappeared. The next day, I decided to talk to my father and stepmother. My mother and Luigi offered to come with me, but I chose to go alone. I told my father that I would not return to the house as long as he is married to her. I think my words affected him, because he apologized again and said he loved me, and that now we could all go on vacation together. I would have liked to be the bigger person, but they are the adults. I was the bigger person from the moment she entered my life, and I'm tired. I told him I don't want to go anywhere she is. Even if he changes and sets boundaries, I don't want to surround myself with that energy anymore. I've read comments from people over 35 who still tolerate cruel stepmothers just to see their fathers or siblings. I don't want that future. I don't want to spend my adulthood sharing dinners with a woman who hates me. I'm terrified of having children someday and them having to call her grandma. I don't want to pretend everything is fine. My father said he can't leave her because she's his wife and the mother of his children. I told him I understand, and that's why I won't come back. If they've been together for years, he clearly sees something in her. They deserve each other, a cruel person and someone who failed to protect me. We argued, raising our voices, especially when she said I was always problematic and needy for my father's attention. Their true personalities became clear when she said that spouses come before children, and my father agreed. I couldn't help comparing them to my mother and Luigi, who always put me and his son first. My mother always checked to make sure Luigi treated me well when they first started dating. In the end, I made it clear that as long as they are married, I will never step foot in that house again, and I will never be in the same place as her. I told my father I also need space from him. He said he loves me, but I'm tired of that kind of love. I felt depressed for a few days, but today we finished decorating the house for Christmas, and my mother's excitement rubbed off on me. Luigi went to pick up his son, and tomorrow we'll all be together. Maybe I let my stepmother win, but I think I'm going to win too by not having her in my life.